Lesson for section 3. This video number 2, is going to be done in 2 parts. I will do a layout demonstration first and then a marker rendering demonstration second. The drawing that we're going to be working on is this urban rapid transit vehicle. And it's a layout here that you can see in this drawing that I did as a demonstration in class. So I'm going to do the same demonstration here on video. Now you might be asking yourself, why are we doing a train for what is often a interior design course that's using this book? Well, objects are generally a lot simpler to draw in proportion than interiors. So I found it best that we start the first 4 lessons of this book drawing objects, estimating cubes, and then as we get into lesson 5 and beyond, we're going to be concentrating a lot more on interiors. So let's lay out this book, this train. It is a 2-point perspective, and the object is probably about 7 or 7.5 feet high. So we'd want to locate this partially above, mostly below the horizon line, again with our normal eye level at about 5 feet above the ground. So like all drawings, I'm going to start out with a horizon line, the left and right vanishing points. For this drawing, I'm going to start with the leading edge of my perspective, my estimated cube, slightly to the left of center. And the reason for that is in the drawing, the right side of this object, this train, is the focal point of my drawing. And so I want to give more emphasis to the right than to the left. So I'll move the front edge, the leading edge of this object, slightly to the left. I want to start my drawing by estimating a cube. Height. Here is the depth on the right side of the cube, the depth on the left side, estimated. And now dividing this cube in half, the same way we did for the stereo demonstration, will result in the midpoint. I can draw a vertical and a horizontal. And now I want to expand this cube. My original cube, you can see, is between these 2 points, and I want to expand it a half a cube, 1/2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 7 half cubes. And we can do that with geometry by going midpoint to midpoint and then extending that line up to the extension line and dropping down a horizontal. So I've now expanded it 1 half cube, and we'll extend it 6 more. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And you can see that every time I extend this, I am extending it in perspective. So each vertical line appears to get slightly closer together as it converges to the vanishing point. I notice on my original demonstration here that I've got an angle, 2 angles on the front of the train. The first one representing the window. The front window goes about half a cube back, angled slightly below the center line of the cube. This would represent the half cube back. Let's put a little bit of a curve on it. Drop that back to the horizon line on the top and the bottom. Looking at where the front back edge of the cube, back to the horizon line, intersects this angle. I can now draw the back edge of the front of the train, the angle for the front lower level, is estimated and drawn in place. That is going to stop right here. Bring the top down. Now I can begin to put in my front window for the train conductor. And I'll just radius that a little bit, bring it up at the same angle here. Radius it a little bit around that front edge. And I'll run this window about halfway. And then let's give the train a number. And we'll make this graphics in perspective. And we'll just give it a R0 number. And the R, just kind of sketch it in. And now let's add the passenger windows. And they're all going to line up with this front window. And there's one window opening per half cube. And so I'm just going to sketch those in. And notice I'm radiusing the top and the bottom slightly. It just gives the train kind of a interesting shape rather than making it squared off on the top and bottom and looking a little clunky. I think it just gives it a little nicer aesthetic. Let's make this a door opening here, and then two more windows in the back. And we'll have this train emerging out of a little tunnel here. And I'll show the depth of the tunnel. Out like this, the back corner of this underground train station. We'll put the ceiling in. Going to the left and right. We'll extend the tracks. This train is sitting in a little recess. Commuter train. And then let's just draw in a few horizontal lines going back to the vanishing point, representing some kind of an electrical track or something that this train is running on. We'll radius the bottom of the train slightly. And then let's add a little gridding to the train platform. Maybe it's cement expansion lines. And it gives it a little bit of a grounding. I've just estimated a cube here. I could use diagonals and proportion all this, but I think after a while it just gets to be more than you really need. So the more you can depend on your eye, your sense of scale and proportion, as you get more and more comfortable with drawing, the easier that becomes. So I think this finishes the rough layout of the train. And what I'll do next is in part 2 of this video is I will give you a marker demonstration on how to render this object. So we can continue with part 2.